Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Mr. Toastmasters. It is known that age equals knowledge equals wisdom. How many, or who's the oldest in the room? Serious question, serious question. Serious question, no, serious question. Who's the oldest in the room?
I am.
You are? How many recessions have you gone through?
Does that include the Great Depression?
That you've been alive. That's why I asked the question. How many recessions you've been through?
Two recessions.
Two recessions.
I've been through 7 recessions.
You've been through 7 recessions. Had any of the recessions been any like the other ones? Or they all been different to each other?
The trigger has been different.
The trigger has been different, right? Also the period that it lasted has been different.
Usually 7 years. Peak to trough, 7 years.
Some people actually say it's 10 years. Right now it's closer to 12 from the last one that we were on. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So, what is it that makes this interesting? Data science is a new field, and the field constitutes of knowledge of mathematics, the statistics. At the same time, you have to be good at programming, something called Python. You know, it's just computer language. At the same time, you have to understand databases. Why? Because if you want to look at constant maturity treasury rates, that's a big chunk of data. We're talking about close to 16,000 rows by 13 column matrix. That's over, I guess, 200,000 data points, give or take a few. And you want to try to calculate this in minutes, not hours. So you got to be very good at how you're going to code it. If you go into the website for Fred, they have a script that they can show you the recessions, and they can show you the periods of the recessions, the constant maturity rates for the 2, the 5, and the 10 years. Most people say that the 2 versus the 10, which is called the yield curve, is the important one. So far in the research that I'm conducting, I disagree, respectfully. I'm not an economist. Why? The data started to report in January 2nd of 1962. But that was the data for the 5-year and the 10-year. Did you know that the data for the 2-year started to report in June 1st of 1976? What happened between 1962 and 1976? Paul, you lived through this. What happened?
There was a terrible recession in 73, 74, 75, and it was triggered by the gas crisis.
Correct. And the rates at that time were over 10%, yes?
The
16.
No, 60% was in 79, 80, 81.
Oh, but
That's why we had the interest.
back then we're talking rates really high, like, yes?
Yeah.
So if we compare it to the recession that we just went through, those were peanuts. Even though people lost their homes and everything, if we were comparing to the earlier recessions, this was nothing. Now, interestingly, when you run the columns simultaneously, you find out that there has been 1,754 times where the constant maturity rate for the 2-year has been greater than the 5-year. 1,508 times that the 2-year has been greater than the 10-year. And 2,532 times that the 5-year has been greater than the 10-year. However, as I stated before, the 2-year started way later. So when we restrict to the same domain, the numbers change. It's 1,382. Now, when has it been the case where the 2-year is greater than the 5, the 2-year is greater than the 10, and the 5-year is greater than the 10? That's only been 949 times. And did you know that the last time that happened was January 1st of January 22nd of 2007? What happened in the year 2007?
It was the beginning of the end.
It was the beginning of the end, right? Interestingly enough, when you go back and you look at when did that happen before, it was right in the year 2000. What happened in 2001? It was another recession, yes?
Yeah.
So even though economists are saying that when the yield curve flips, when the 2 is greater than the 10, you should be scared. I'm saying you should be scared the day where the 2 is greater than the 5 is greater than the 2 is greater than 10, and the 5 is greater than the 10. That hasn't happened yet. But it's close. I don't know who came up with the definition of the yield curve. It's been way long before my time. Do you know, Paul?
No.
Who reported that we should care about the 2 over the 10, or the 5 over the 10? The interesting thing about data science is the more variables you have, the more data you have, the more you can predict, the more you can tell. Now, this is a research that I've been conducting for about 2 weeks. Give me a month and let me see what happens. Why is this important? Well, we have investors in the room, yes? Would I be, or should I be investing if I know that a recession is going to start?
No.
No. So when should I be worried? Right now, the markets are paying off like a machine. I mean, if you invest right now, in days, you can make a couple of hundreds if you know how to play the market. Because they're paying off really good. But it can flip any day. And what's going to trigger it? That's a different question. Like Paul stated, every trigger has been different. So where are we going? Like I said before, give me a month. I'll be back in the same room and report my findings. This Toastmasters.